Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Wolfram language design review about graphics issues. Okay, why are the bars not centered on integers? How do we deal with this?
So the bar centering code currently triggers for the automatic bin determinations. And the case that you had, you specified the bin width, which is sort of in between fully automatic and fully specified.
Okay, I'm gonna make a statement about that. If I specify the bin width, I mean center bins on multiples of that bin width. Beginning and end of story. It seems like the obvious thing to do.
But for all data. So if you have real data and you say bin width 1, you want stuff that goes from 0.5 to 1.5, 1.5 to
What do
2.5.
you think about that? I'm not sure. It's not obviously stupid.
I mean, it isn't, but it's also not obviously,
Correct.
yes.
Okay, how could we notate both cases? That argument, does it have a list? Is it already a list of things, or is it
So it is, okay, so that argument, if you give just a number,
I know
is
it's
I
the
want
number of
10
bins.
bins. If you give a list of like 1 to 3, sorts of things, it's range specy.
What does
If you
that mean?
give a
Range
list
spec?
of
I don't
lists, then you're
understand. What
giving,
do you mean range spec?
I mean, so, um,
That means bins one, two, and three, or what?
no, it means, so for example, if you gave 3 items in that list, it would be min max step size.
I see.
So that singleton list is, sort of an implicit implied start and stop, and you're just giving the step size.
I see.
And
So
then
really,
list
the
of
issue
lists
is,
allows
yeah,
you to give like, random set of cutoffs.
I see. So really, the thing I want is I could get that with, can I do this? Can I say automatic?
I don't remember if that supports automatic or if it like predates where we would have added that sort of affordance. Right, but if you say zero point 0.5, 10.5 steps of one or something, yeah, I don't,
That probably should work.
yeah, 20.5, I forgot.
Well, there's another possibility, which is some syntax like this. It's pretty grotesque. Sander is commenting on our live stream. Let's see. He says, hmm, well, would that work in this case? I don't think so.
I'm not sure what he,
No, this floor admin of data, right? That would be 0 in this case, not 0.5.
right, you'd want minus, floor minus zero point 0.5 and max,
But
ceiling
how do you know
plus.
it's minus 0.5? Unless you know it's integers, you don't know it's minus 0.5.
Right. I mean, and that's, an aspect of the automatic case is that it's not looking to see if the data is integers. It's looking to see what the minimum distance between values is.
Okay,
And
let me make a suggestion. That in this case where you only give the step size, only give the width, that it needs to determine what the min is, and it's got to do that based on the data. Let it use heuristics to do that.
I think so. I mean, and so we know or can know. I don't know if we know it exactly in this case, but we definitely can know that the minimum step size between your values in this case is like 2.
Yeah, but look, the main point is if it's integers, okay, if it is of type integer, just do the obvious thing. See what I'm saying? If it is reals, then we can certainly just try and see, well, try a better heuristic. If it's integer, if it's type integer, just center them. Does that make sense to everybody? So in other words,
For some definition of type integer, yes.
well, I mean literally type
Yeah,
integer.
I know that you do, and I think we can do better than that.
Well, I think so too, but let's think that through, right?
Right. I mean,
Because
so
let's
so
say,
for example, if you take that first histogram up at the top
yeah,
and you change the 2 to a 5 or a 10 or something. Right. So in that case, all of your things are integers, but it hasn't shifted by 0.5. It's shifted by 2.5 or 5 respectively.
I see.
And
I'm
so
actually
that's
a
what
little
I'm saying
confused
by
by this because why isn't the last bin then? If I go to this, why are those bins of equal size? Because it never got anything below 0. So I don't understand, where does that bin end? How can this possibly be right?
I mean, it can be right because you can shift those bins. That's the 10 case, 5 either way, and the
No, you
count doesn't
can't.
change.
No, you can't. There's no values below 0. So the only
No,
values
no.
this
I
bin,
mean, what I'm saying is, I could draw that bin. I can shift that bin a little bit left or right, and it is still correct.
I don't think that's true. Because I think that that bin is picking up values between 0 and 10.
The only values you have in this data set are 0, 10, 20. There are no values between
Oh, I
0 and
see.
10.
I see. Okay, 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 okay. Good point. Good point.
And so for that reason, we could start the bin at 1 and go to
Well, the fact is that it will be better if those bins indicated that fact rather than the automatic binning being such that, if I said 20 bins or something here, why is it doing that? Why the hell is it doing that? Why is it doing that?
because that's close enough to the automation. Right. I mean, this is the sort of thing where you complained 10 years ago that it was, you know, drawing, leaving big gaps between the bins.
Well, I don't understand. No, but I mean, in the case, okay, look, this is all screwed up. This, I think, in a case like this, you want an indication that the data is all concentrated at the integer values, the multiples of 10 here. But you don't have as much information from this picture. And why, when I asked for 100 bins, why is it only showing me 20 bins? 10 bins, whatever it is.
Right.
That just seems
Because,
like a bug.
well, I mean, 100 doesn't mean exactly 100. It means nice boundaries.
How
And
big do I have
so,
to make it so that I see something else? I mean, if I say 1,000, no, I don't, I'm not buying this. I'm sorry. By the time
okay,
I
so
explicitly ask for 100, I
okay,
want
so
to,
so do that. Right. Okay. So, do you want the 100 case to look like the list 1 case below it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly so. Now, if I say 50 or something, I guess I want
Right,
thicker
the bins will
bins
get
here.
thicker. It'll be 2.2 instead. I'm sorry, it'll be list 2 instead of list 1.
Okay. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's great. I don't know what
And
you
then
do if
shift them
okay.
over a little bit and
Yes. All right, so let's review. What we're saying is integer values, let's see. Integer values always get shifted. It's interesting, actually. I mean, so basically the conclusion is integer values get shifted, real values do not. It's a discrete piece of data versus a continuous piece of data.
it is, I mean, if you turn that, if you do 10.0 times random integer,
Yep,
it will look exactly the same.
I know. And there's a question of can we make it look exactly the same in the thing we're planning?
No, no, I'm saying if you take out, like, if you just do a single argument histogram.
Yeah. No, I know. Right now it will look the same. And with what I'm proposing, it might not look the same.
Right, okay.
Right. So I'm saying, you know, the thing is, the automatic behavior, it seems to me, I mean, the first case is if you give a bin width, I think it's fairly clear we have lots of freedom to decide what the start of the bins is. Okay.
Okay.
And so we should then figure out if they're integers, we should do the obvious thing, blah, blah, blah. Now, okay, let's take reals where the reals happen to land within 10 to the minus 7 of integers. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? Do we treat it as an integer thing? How does it degenerate when there's only 2 data points, etc.? Now, you were suggesting something where we take all the differences and we say, we imagine the histogram of differences and we ask, is it deeply concentrated on are they all multiples? Are the differences all multiple or very close to multiples of something? I think that's what we do. I think we look in these automatic cases, we look at the histogram of differences and we ask if there is a lowest common, what do I want? Is it greater, what is it? Greater GCD, basically. It's we're looking for, is everything a multiple of something? Am I making sense?
Yes, I forget what it's doing right now, but it's something along those lines. But I don't think it's looking at the full distribution. I think it's looking
All
at
right, but
what the minimum non-zero distance between things is.
right, but I think we need to look at more than that so that we can confirm, is it basically a integer multiple thing? Sanders commenting, the suggestion was for the list width spec, you could do minus width over 2 to plus width over 2 for the min and max of the bin spec to center them. Yes, I think this is what we imagine, but I don't think we want to do that in all cases. In other words, if I have a continuous set of variables, I think that the list one notation wants to basically, be from value to, you get what I'm saying, from value to. I think this is just a case of the difference between continuous distributions and discrete distributions. Now, the only question is, do we have any pattern? And unfortunately, Roger is away today, so he won't be able to weigh in immediately for things where, it'd be nice to be able to have some notation that definitively gives you either the discrete or continuous case. Okay, I suggest what we do How do we do this? You understand the point. And I mean, basically, we certainly are going to want something like all one. We should make that work. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So if we have that, okay, what that will do is take the min value to the max value and have blocks of one separating them. I mean, we could support things like this, but I don't know. What we really want is something which says multiples of a particular thing, discrete multiples. So how do we do that? How do we specify that with the notation that we have so far? Use a
Right.
name
I mean, we
thing
could do
method.
something like that next to last one where we have a string and
Well, wait a minute. The binning specification of log. I've never used any of these.
I they're one of those things that, I think we felt were important, when we did this, and I don't know how much people use them. I mean, I suspect everybody uses the ones above. Um,
I mean, I might have, should have used these perhaps. Does it even autocomplete properly? Oh, well, that autocompletes, but I don't know. I bet I should have used these many times, but I had no clue. See, this is a good case where some kind of gallery would make sense. Do you see what I'm saying? As
I
it
mean, I
would
don't know
here.
how much a gallery would help.
Well, it just will show you roughly what these look like. What do the bins look like? I don't know. It's also very suspicious that there's no jump down link here. Are they documented?
There are examples of them, yes.
Doesn't look like it here.
There are actually, I don't think that the discipline for putting jump down links is probably not what you might wish.
We should feed that to the under documentation team and suggest that they look for that. Maybe get an LLM to look for it a bit.
I mean, speaking for myself as an author, I don't even know what the standard should be. So,
Okay, but that's so let's let those guys try and figure that out.
right. I'm just saying that part of the feedback is maybe they can help determine what the standard should be.
Right.
Right. I mean, and so the thing that affects these is that by, even with these methods, histogram is generating nice boundaries. And so, what comes out of like Sturges or something then gets additionally processed because it will decide that it wants a bin width of 0.37 and then it gets, adjusted to 0.5 or something.
Right. Anyway, look, it's clear that we've got the notion of continuous bins that go from value to value, and we've got discrete bins go from value to value and are displayed from value to value, and discrete bins that are displayed centered on that value. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we indicate that?
I mean, one possibility is we do lists, string discrete, comma,
I hate
20,
it.
or
I hate it. I hate it. Is there any wrapper we could repurpose or any? See this, for example, will presumably start at the value at the, that's 1. And if we say automatic, it will start at a nice value. If you get what I'm saying.
right. I mean, the
Or
other
it should
thing
start at the raw
that,
value.
comes in with the automatics is, we have this feature where the histograms will not show, outliers basically.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah, I got bitten on that, as a matter of fact. I nearly came to a completely wrong conclusion about something. Because with the automatic there, but if I say plot range to all, it will show everything, right?
yes. Exactly. But I'm imagining also that that all one spec should also do that.
Yes, I would think so. Okay, so the main thing we're missing is how do we specify when you say list 1 list?
I mean, wild ideas use offset.
Yeah, I was wondering about wrappers. I don't think so. How would offset? Well, okay, look, we're agreed that in the case that we can tell, look, what the heck? We know what it's going to do in the automatic cases. If it can tell, if you really want to insist that it's specific values, then use this syntax. This syntax has partial heuristics that try to decide whether to center the bins or not.
Okay.
I mean, we could conceivably do some kind of. Okay, here's an idea. Okay, the full syntax would be min, max, 1, centered. So in other words, actually, we could even do this. It's just like we do for, yeah, you know what? This is the right thing to do. Think about list step plot, right? This is the right way to do it. It's this or it's this, okay? And what does that do?
Ooh.
That means that the actual values will be taken as center values or as left values here. See what I'm saying? And the elided form would be just the 1, or you could perhaps have 1 comma left, 1 comma center. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and if we have center and left, we're going to get right.
Yeah,
which
that's
gives
fine.
us like an entire, new little feature.
Sure. This is exactly the right thing. This is just like list step plot. Right? I like this. Now, do we need this in bar chart?
No, bar chart doesn't have numeric domain.
Okay.
I mean, the x coordinates of the bars
Yeah,
is
right. It's just arbitrary.
yeah.
Okay, this is a good solution. Any objections?
No, I think that looks pretty good.
I mean, I think we could allow the elided form that.
Yeah, we don't currently have a 2-argument list form there.
Yeah, so we can allow this. Okay, we finally got a good solution. On to
Cool.
the next topic. I like that solution. Okay, this craziness.
So I was
Yeah.
looking at this again, and it feels like it should be part of the appearance option.
I agree.
And
Why don't we make an association appearance option?
that's what I was expecting us, the direction I was expecting us to go, because, like that short one, it's like, do I show 2 rows and then allied stuff
Exactly.
till the
So
end,
so
or
so why don't we have appearance and let's say arrangement, which is stacked.
right? It's how the things in each little panel are done. Arrow, square, brick, all of these
Well,
things.
stacked. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, arrangement, blah blah blah. Then, um, row length. Do we have a better?
I mean, that's columns.
No, but it's not what we want to do. What we want to say is, when do you
Oh, oh,
slice it?
oh, oh, I see. Right.
And possible settings are all, automatic, or value. Do we have
And
any
the
precedent
and
for
like
row
10
length?
means 10 columns in that case.
That's correct,
Okay.
because it's reading this way.
I just want to make sure that it wasn't like an EMS or some other weird unit.
No.
Yeah. So,
Um, well, then maybe we should say row items. Do we have any precedent for this?
I mean, all the ones I'm thinking of are, just argument things like in multi-column or whatever, where, partition type things. It's where you just say 10 is an argument.
That's my suggestion.
So like 2 comma 1 would do
Be
the
two at the
first two
top,
and the
one at the
last
bottom.
one, and
And this one n would be, I think, the number at the beginning and the end. See what I'm saying?
so the current one is elision
1,
goes
1.
to 1
Yeah,
for,
Ellison goes to 1 or 1, 1.
yep, for that short thing. Yep.
Let's do it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. I'd really also like to be able to get. Oh, I guess we can get individual cases of this. It's fine.
I mean, if you want to do, right, I mean, I think you said in a recent meeting you also wanted a way to get the list of the things.
Well, in that case, we could have oops, format. Um, that's essentially what we're talking about, I think.
And this will be a case where the option changes the return type of the thing.
Yes. Let's make it be a WFR for the time being. That makes the list.
Okay. WFR of, RulePlot rules or something.
Yeah, RulePlot list.
Yeah, okay.
And same options otherwise.
Okay.
We might want to look at some of the other cases, like some of the 2D cases, and make sure these make sense. But I think this all makes sense. I mean, it's just driven me crazy not being able to change this row. But
Yep.
okay. Now we have the big enchilada, for which we've had many people waiting. Sorry, guys. Didn't realize we had so many people waiting. Okay. Here's the basic point. People who haven't been paying attention, now is the time to wake up. Okay. It is very common in a project that we will have, a bunch of standardized styles that are chosen. Okay. This relates, talking to John now, this seems to me to relate to the themes project and Noah as well. Talk to me about
I'm
what's
not.
that?
Is Noah here?
Yes.
Okay.
Or it should be. He is.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Does this relate to theme colors, or am I off base? I mean, this isn't just themes, this is styles in general. So like an edge style here is, well, actually, now we have these functions. Should we look at what this
I
is?
mean,
No.
the question is do you so I mean, with like notebook theming, right? You're specifying sort of symbolic colors, and then you can change the theme of the notebook on the fly, and sort of everything changes. Are you wanting that sort of
No,
dynamic responsiveness here, or are you just
No.
wanting a set of things that you can apply when it's generated?
Just when it's generated. And in particular, what I'm trying to do is, if we have a central place where we store these styles and, we changed the color, one of these colors, right? Then I want to rerun everything. But I want it to be the case. I mean, it's very convenient you're writing a piece and you always want the vertex icon background to be the same color. So you want to refer to the vertex icon background symbolically rather than just giving it as, whatever it is, directive, opacity, whatever it is.
So I don't think the unification between these two worlds is at all obvious.
Yeah, and it may not be correct.
I mean, I see potentially some linking between them. Like, maybe there's a way that the, way of specifying a theme for the notebook says what you want, the theme for your visualizations to be, but not necessarily encoding all of that information in the notebook.
Okay, let me give you a for instance. Okay, most of these things for pieces I write, we're never done thinking of dark mode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It will be nice to be able to go in and maybe have an automated system that will take this and rewrite this to be like dark switched, everything to be like dark switched. Does that make sense?
Well, and we can do that now with auto light dark color rules.
Yeah.
So you're saying if I take one of my graphics.
Well, it depends exactly what's in the graphic. Anything that's an actual color directive should map. But if there are
So
sort of
color
rasters
directives
in there,
inside graph, for example, will still work.
Sorry, say that again, Stephen.
Directives inside graph, like a vertex style.
So
should do, yeah.
So as long as it's not, already light dark switched, of course. If somebody's done part of the job, then it's light dark auto color rules doesn't
Okay,
doesn't
so if I
interfere
say
with that.
random graph of let me make let me be ugly. Do that. Okay, now I'm going to go to dark mode.
Yeah. Or if you want to compare them side by side, you can use dark paint as well. But yeah.
Oh, let's be modern. What do I do now? Dark pane.
Or dark mode pane.
Why do I get that? Why do I get that there?
Because
Have
tracking
things.
down these contexts to exclude is Sisyphean.
Let's talk about using LLMs to do it or something. LLMs are the new Sisyphus.
So, Lori, this is a bug to be reported.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Do I have to give both things here? What do I do for this?
Just dark mode
just
pane of
add.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
Or
you
is
go.
the light mode version? Oh, I see. It's the same thing. Okay, now.
So now, copy that down again and add base style arrow list of light dark auto color rules arrow all.
Snazzy. But this is a very horrendous way to get that. Why isn't there a wrapper? Why isn't dark mode pane? No, I see.
This doesn't have, I mean, dark mode pane is just a visualizer. This doesn't have anything to do with dark mode pane. The
So if I
problem,
said,
the
I
problem
said
was
there's
in the
no-
graph itself. And in this case, I just attached the style to dark mode pane because it was there. You could have easily put that base style inside of the
I
random
did.
graph.
I did. Look at my
Oh, I'm
brackets.
sorry. Yes, you did. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
So the point being that the problem, the quote problem that you are fixing is in the graphic. It's not in dark mode pane.
I understand that. But so, okay. If I were going to do this, I've got a whole notebook full of stuff. Okay, can I set this at the notebook level?
Yes, but that's not necessarily a good idea
Why?
because it will do everything that hasn't been handled directly. It will do things, I mean, which you may really, really not want. I mean, like for example, all of the standard are the standard colors that we put in. It'll
Like
do them all.
plots in dark mode won't look good. The colors were chosen to look good in dark and light, but if you auto switch the colors, they'll look worse.
Can I make? Why are
I
we
mean,
not?
plots will be fine.
Why are we
but
not steganizing
why?
these things? No, wait a second. Well, I want to understand the answer to that question. But why did we not, steganographize those things?
Well, actually, hang on. It's not. John, isn't there a right-hand side to light dark auto color rules that has some colors accepted? Right, the plot
Yeah,
colors being a subset.
yes. You can choose a version that accepts, and it. I mean, the list is about, I don't know, a dozen colors or something like that. But it's, I forget what the right-hand side is
But I
called.
assume we steganographized our standard colors. Yes.
Yes.
Um,
I mean, plot sets that option to a value in a default base style.
but no, we didn't steganographize. First of all, no, we didn't steganographize, just, the evaluation of those colors because we wanted them to evaluate to something simple.
Okay, hold on. Just so everybody understands what we're talking about steganographization. What we were doing there was add high order bits to the color specification so that I'm trying to remember what we were doing. That was for some legacy purpose, right? That was
Yeah,
to indicate light dark.
So the issue is that light dark switched as a directive is not going to be recognized by older front ends. And so it would lead to pink boxing and colors not being recognized generally. So not only pink boxing, but also, if you said light dark switched of RGB color this, RGB color that, you won't get either of the RGB colors. You'll get like a, gray or something worse.
Right.
And so the idea is that we needed to represent the light dark switched in a way that the older front ends would just kind of ignore the information. And so we have a setting, an undocumented setting, but one that we use internally of light dark auto color rules, where it will basically recognize colors with since most colors really only use like the first 3 decimal digits. I mean, the human eye can't recognize much more than that anyway. So we essentially just take machine precision doubles. We take the last number of bits that can't be recognized by the eye anyway, and we encode information into them. And so then with one of these steganographed color values, it basically looks like just a long float with a bunch of random digits at the end, but they're not random at all. They encode information.
Yep. Okay, but that's not relevant to this. So let's talk about the practical case. So like I've got all kinds of documents that are light mode, right? Colors were optimized for light mode.
Mm-hmm.
We are considering making dark mode versions of those things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How would we flow through a light dark auto color rules? Could we do a notebook setting? Could we have a version of the notebook setting that's some kind of automatic setting that tries to do the obvious thing of doing this? I don't know what the cases where it shouldn't do it are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the cases
and what
Sorry,
and the right hand side that I was talking about is string non-plot colors. So that's gonna ignore some, but those probably
going to
wouldn't have been
ignore the
too
ones
bad anyway.
Basically, it's going to ignore the ones that one imagines were optimized for light dark because they're in our plots and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yes.
it'll ignore that blue, right? From color data 116.
Our default plot colors, it should be said. If you mess with the default plot colors, then you're out on your own.
Okay, but so if I do that here, if I set that at the notebook level here, what am I doing?
Just search for light dark. There you go. On the notebook.
Set the scope. Yeah.
Notebook at the top. And you can just put in all.
Here?
Yeah. On the right. It's empty association is default value, but just type in all.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, drum roll. That didn't work. That didn't do this. Because those are no.
The let's see.
Does it help to evaluate? I don't know why it would. No.
Are you absolutely sure selected notebook was indeed untitled 1?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So it's working for me, although I'm getting in a light dark auto color rules. Oh. Yeah. But I'm getting these weird sorts of effects like completion menus with wrong colors and that sort of thing.
In here,
Yeah.
that doesn't look right.
There
What the
you
hell's
go.
going on there?
Well, it's we're
Bug.
dog fooding, right? Build the system in the system, and everything inherits up to the top. And there are some options
It's
that
dog
can
food all the
be,
way up.
yeah, there are some options that can be set at the notebook or global level, but shouldn't. It's just a bad idea.
Okay. Okay,
But
fine.
Stephen, I think most of what you want to do comes out to the blog, which will run through an export or rasterize, and then we could scope it there.
I see.
Actually, I'm sorry. Are you sure that it's not working? Isn't it?
Well,
Isn't that red more contrasty than what was there before?
it's not the
No.
same as the one below, John. There's a pinkish one below. If you scroll.
Yeah, I mean, it
This
was
is
going
fine.
really
Yeah.
pink.
Okay.
Positively pink, like that famous panther.
Okay.
Either way, I'm thinking we handle this on the export side
Wait.
Yeah,
instead
for
of the notebook
my
side.
particular use.
Actually, you know what? This may be a graph thing. Just evaluate graphics of red, disk.
Oh, it goes inside of some expression.
I think that graph is explicitly setting light dark auto color rules somewhere in one of its base styles.
Yeah.
Which is why the base
Should
style
it be?
still overrides it, because the manually specified base style, because manually specified base style comes in after the default base styles for graph.
Well, should it be? Is it the correct behavior?
I mean, it's, once again, we're implementing the system in the system. It's graph and many other functions are allowed to do this sort of thing.
Would that work?
I think you need an actual graph there, not just
Oh,
the symbol
no.
random graph.
No, but doesn't it have a
But
base
but
style?
but 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 but
I mean, but
consider,
absolute options is for an instantiation.
but consider if this option is on and you weren't thinking about it, and you try to make a red disk and you're like, darn it, where's my red? It's not red. Why is red salmon?
Yeah, okay, I understand.
Right. Ask for default base style. Well, I mean, do it of like %21 or whatever.
Yeah, it's default base style. Base style is for users, default base style is for us. But just do take off the default base style.
What do you mean?
Just grab all the options.
Absolute, add back the absolute. I'm not sure if this will.
I don't think it's working. I don't think absolute options and full options are
It might
working.
not, but we can check.
Oh, absolute options. There we go.
Base style's empty.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but default
that's
base
not
style,
surprising.
There isn't a default base style here. It's alphabetical
There
order.
is not a default base style. Okay.
All right. So look, there's some things to track down here, but this was not our main topic.
Correct.
The main topic here. That's a bizarre image padding. The main topic is
the default. I'm looking at it. It uses a default base style called network graphics, and I'll bet that network graphics is setting this. Let's see. Indeed, it is. Yeah. Network graphics is setting light dark auto color rules to marked colors, arrow true.
You guys should talk about this. I don't know if that's right, but let's not get derailed.
Well, no, that's the steganographic thing, Stephen.
Okay, fine. All right. Okay, fine. So it's a it's kind of a cameo from the Cretaceous or something. Never mind.
Well, I mean, look, it's the same thing where somebody says, I want bigger fonts, so I'm gonna set font size
Yeah, I
to
get it. I get
some
it.
large size on the whole notebook,
All right.
and it
Can we come
can
back
have
to the original?
weird
Yeah, right.
behaviors.
Okay, let's come back
I
to
mean,
the original problem.
the UI, the way I could imagine you wanting to do this is, so I mean, with themes, right? You are just specifying the colors. Here, really, you're specifying options, and so I guess the things like your sort of plot theme primitives, right, would just be sort of options that you or collections of options that you could define, and then I can imagine like listing all of those out with like some kind of like iconographic visualization for each, sort of say what the option does, and then you could kind of you could create a named spot theme out of the by selecting all the various different sort of options that you've defined, and this is kind of similar in spirit at least to what Canvas does, which I think I showed you last time, or John showed you or something. It has a like a saved styles drawer, and it's sort of trying, and it's really saving little collections of options. And so if if your option is like an edge style or something, then the way it visualizes that is to draw so you do canvas open close, click on that, then click on the select tab, so on the left,
This one, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry, then select the primitive. Oop. Then click on saved styles at the top. Yeah, and then actually, if you click like next, right? So go to the next one, you'll kind of see that they're not all okay. Yeah, here we go. So here you've got like different collections of options being set, and then I've just made like a little visualization for each type of option.
It's nice.
And so I can imagine that as you add your sort of your options that you specify that I always want edge styles to be whatever, then we can kind of generate these little visualizations as you group them into like just a named plot theme. And then what we could do is you could, much like we've done with themes, actually, John's implemented this recently, is that you start with a named one and then you can add your overrides after it if you need to.
But where will we store the named ones?
I don't know.
Yeah, but what
associated with your cloud account?
I mean, one could imagine. I mean, these collection of options, they might. I mean, you could have a collection of options which is tweaked for various visualization functions, and it wouldn't even necessarily be visualization. I mean, grid could benefit from a thing a bit like this as well. And maybe if we had a thing that says, well, take the options this function can recognize,
out of some big collection.
Out of some big collection, yeah, then we might have the makings of some general sort of feature here.
Well, okay, but what would the thing be? It would be.
How does plot theme work? Shouldn't plot theme handle something like this today?
I mean, plot theme.
There's no way to set your own themes.
Well, if you did, wouldn't you set it like this with different options in one big list?
That's the next, but related, I think. So if you scroll up internally, there is a way. Okay, let's scroll up a little bit more to answer Jeremy's question. Right. So plot theme has information, for the theme and plot type, plot function on what options it wants to use. And most of them are, default versions of like plot style or finer granularity of plot style. Because we want to not blow away when the user says their own plot style, that we want it to merge in a sensible way.
Can I make a general comment here? Look, if what we could do, if the end result was, let's say it was plot theme data of foo, comma, whatever it is, or that it's like a resource object of some kind that you set. You could set it to be an association. You could set individual pieces. Fundamentally, it would be that thing is set to an association.
Mm-hmm.
You could set individual pieces of it somehow. And then the question is, how do you read in a plot theme? Right? How do you deploy a plot theme and read it back in again? So how does that relate to the resource system?
Well, let me ask, Brett, is every aspect of plot themes just option settings, or is there something else that goes on? I understand the way the options are mixed in is carefully done, but is it all effectively just options?
Be right back.
It is all options with, where there's a large number of, we added a method option so that we could distinguish, this behavior from that behavior.
Okay.
Without, so for example,
So in the
plot of
cases
one
where you
thing
couldn't
versus
do it
plot
as
of a
an
list of
option, you
things.
effectively added an option which is the method option.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that
Um,
makes sense. So if this option mixing, or in front end lingo, we would call it shifting one set of options into another set of options. If that were standardized, one could imagine users being able to specify any options they wanted to, and which might include, I suppose, some computational options, even like plot points or something like that.
I'm not sure quite what you're envisioning there, but I mean, the mixing happens, in the viz functions. It's
Yeah.
so plot goes, oh, you specified plot style goes to thick, and plot theme goes to marketing, and so I'm going to take what I know about plot style for marketing, and your setting for thick, and sort of glue them together in a way that's appropriate for these things that are directives.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is that basically all explicit user settings, if the theme had no opinion about the setting, then the explicit user setting just rides. If the theme has an opinion about the setting, then the explicit user setting overrides that opinion. So the user's explicit
it's not
settings
strict
always
override. Well, I mean, it depends, right? I mean, so
well, I understand the plot style itself is weird because plot style is itself a container for more option settings, effectively.
Right, color and thickness and dashing in that sense is what you mean, yes.
And from the front end's perspective, of course, we don't have a plot style. We just have, every directive effectively is backed by its own option. Even to the point of view of say, the face form of the front side of a polygon and face form of the back side of a polygon effectively are just all atomized into separate options, so that we can really figure out, how to kind of mix these things together,
right,
in a way where the
front
user
face
settings
color
always
and back
win.
face color,
Yeah.
etc.
So I have a question, whether we could do something like this entity register mechanism for plot themes. I don't know if that makes sense. And how would we, I mean, the end result should be that you can have a repository of, plot themes that people can pull in.
I think probably the model that we're using for the Packlet repo might be good for this, in the sense that you don't have to globally have unique names, right? That it's
It's
it's a
user
big
scoped,
mess to
basically.
publisher ID.
Right,
But-
because it's that then you don't have to worry about, is this the thing that really deserves the name, flower colors. Right.
Yeah, but if you're a user, the main issue is, can you just read in a file or a cloud object and have it set your colors correctly? But then not have to refer to that whole cloud object every time you make use of the plot theme. So because in a cloud object, unless you said plot theme of foo equals the cloud object, it's not going to do it. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have resource register.
Well, but it would depend on every symbol that supports whatever option this is going into to support those string names and have them always refer to resource objects, right? I don't know if the design allows for that currently, or if it's,
I mean, if we
ambiguous
had a
with other
way of
string
getting,
names.
getting the definitions, creating a theme out of that is not hard. Then the question is, I think then you want a way of sort of setting it, so say at the notebook level, so that Steven isn't, doing plot theme goes to Wolfram Physics project on everything.
Oh, that's kind of horrifying. Okay.
Like a current value on the notebook object.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, the way that, so John and Noah and them have been working on, these notebook themes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you want all of the plot theme stuff in there directly. But I can imagine having one thing in there that is, this is the theme for this notebook theme. Or this is the plot theme for this notebook theme.
I see.
Right. So like current value of notebook object plot theme equals business.
Something like that.
What happens with click to copy out of, a blog post?
You have to have some way of burning in the styles.
Do you? I mean, if I click to copy out of the blog post and I paste into a notebook that isn't the blog notebook style.
You've got to have the same colors as in the blog.
You're pasting into a
unbelievably
notebook that
confusing.
explicitly has a different plot theme.
That's
That
a
is
different
tricky.
story. Yeah, I agree.
Sorry. I thought, I assumed, Brett, that these things were baked in at evaluation time.
I mean, they are. I'm not saying that they wouldn't be. I mean, as far as I know, my thinking is they would still bake in at evaluation time.
But click to copy code doesn't. If what we did was to put a theme, a notebook theme, that points to the default plot theme, then you never get to see the notebook theme in a click to copy. So I'm saying, so you'd have to put the plot theme in every plot function.
Wrap a style around it, maybe.
Around what?
The graphic.
I don't think that would be enough. I mean, that's what we were saying, is that at the moment, at least, the plots burn things in.
I mean, burn it into the output, but it doesn't burn it into the input, does it?
No.
Yeah. I mean, so
But
click to
I mean,
copy's
if you
input.
put a style wrapper around a plot,
it doesn't get inside, does it?
No. I mean, it's going to be burnt in before it, the style wrapper sees anything.
But the problem is we want it burnt into the input somehow, or expanded into the input.
Oh, okay? So are you saying you want to copy and paste the input and have the same colors?
Yeah, I mean,
Regardless of theme? Is
all
that
of
what
the
you're
code
saying?
in Steven's posts are input click to copy. And so notebook scoped styles aren't going to do us any good.
What if notebook theme was an option to, the however we're specifying these plot themes, and so when you click to copy, it would just add. So okay, it would be slightly awkward because what you get on the clipboard isn't exactly what you saw on the notebook. It would have a
Yeah.
notebook theme option
And
in the
who
plot
knows where
theme.
it will, yeah, but where would it put it in? How would it do that? It can't edit the code. No, these are complicated
Well,
pieces of
Don't
code.
we
I'm
already
assuming
do
that
things like
we'd
this?
build that functionality into click to copy.
I mean, like, for example, I thought I saw an example last week where I did a click to copy and I clicked to copied on something that involved percent and it grabbed more than just that. Or am I imagining that?
I think you're imagining that.
Okay.
Some manual work is done with click to copy, but we wouldn't want this to be manual.
No.
I mean, right now, this just has, right now, the way this works is it says things like, well, I think it may be, but we have examples here, it's very clunky. I mean, it says things like, edge style goes to, but it has bigger things. It say edge style goes to this of generic graph, probably edge style. Okay. But this also has things which say function here, where you apply that function to a graph to get it with the appropriate edge styles. I mean, that's probably a minority case. The other one is probably
Right.
enough.
I think I used one of those in the example below this.
Okay.
Right.
Yes,
That causal
use
graph
a
comma
function.
function
It's a
applied to a
convenient
random
thing.
graph.
I mean, that function thing is a convenient thing. Okay.
So I guess I'm a little confused that we would want ordinary plotting commands to look different on a theme by theme basis, but Steven's blog should look absolutely identical regardless of the theme you dropped it into.
That is what he's saying, I believe, yes.
Wait, say that again. I don't think that's
No,
right.
no. We're setting colors explicitly. Because these yellow dots mean something specific for being yellow dots. Okay. So, a plot theme wouldn't, I mean, a theme in the notebook theme sense wouldn't change the yellow dot. It's only changing kind of chrome, basically. Right?
Okay.
I mean, I think maybe this is a difference between plot and your special plot.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not totally bought into the value of notebook theme somehow changing default plot theme anyway. But I'm
not sure it's a good idea.
along for the sake of discussion. But
yeah, I'm not sure it's a good idea. So the question is, if we just take the mechanism that we've been using for the last 5 years, which actually it does work. It's it's for a project. You have this big association, and you're sampling pieces of that association. It's just very clunky, and it requires deploying things to the function repository and God knows what else. Is there anything better we can do? I mean, one possibility would be, okay, I've got a possible idea. With theming, theme pointer, edge style, blah, 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 blah.
And the last third argument is...
No, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's what this would do, and maybe it's a more general thing, is it would take this. It could be an association or it could be a cloud object. I mean, what am I talking about here? Why is this not just a cloud object? See, yeah, I mean, really what we're trying to do is that cloud object is an association, but we want multiple options from that same association that we can use in this graphics, in this piece of graphics. We could want edge style and this and that and the other.
So why are
But
you?
at which point, why is this linked to theming anymore? I mean, this would be useful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the other thing I was going to ask is I wanted to understand why you're selecting options. Are you selecting options because some of the options, are not recognized by a function, or because you have different groups of options that you want to bank switch off of?
Different groups of options. But look, you know what? This is really what this is about is, let's imagine that a cloud object has an association in it. Okay. Then what I'm defining is just take that remote association. I mean, if I take an association, I don't think this works, right? If I say ARO1, PRO2, let's say, I mean, obviously that works, but this does not work, obviously. And I don't think it even works if it's strings, right? It just doesn't work.
It would in lookup, wouldn't it?
No, I think lookup is single.
Okay.
I think it works in lookup.
Does it? Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
confused.
Or part.
But of course, what you need is you need the full rule.
Right. Then you want key take.
Okay. Okay. But so what you're
But
basically
to echo
saying
John's,
yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
go on, Stephen. Well, I was going to say, to echo John's point, is that a useful thing, or is it that you want? Well, presumably you want to do both. You want to be able to pick out of it individual options if that's what you want to do, or you want to be able to just use all of the options within that theme or within that association, but provide overrides. So you're essentially sort of merging the associations, I guess. Like those are two different modes which you might want.
Right.
And that's how
But
plot
essentially
theme
what
works,
we're
right?
doing, what's that?
And that's how plot theme works currently.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing we're saying here is we want a thing. I mean, if we had to say import cloud object for every one of these, it'd be pretty ugly. We really want something which is a cacheable object. Go ahead.
If the cloud object rendered into a little blob, like a function object or a Packlet object, and it was tied back to versioning, wouldn't you be okay with a small rendered blob on the right-hand side of plot theme?
Yes, we can make that work.
Yeah, you just copy it over and over. I don't think that's a big deal, and it works like everything else.
So you're saying every plot gets a plot theme arrow, well, whatever it is.
Yeah, it wouldn't be iconized, but whatever the output of that cloud object is, the rendered blob of it, yeah, something like that. But some visual representation.
Cloud objects don't have a nice blob. They're pretty big.
But function objects do, and Packlets do. I mean, so we can make it look however we want if it's coming out of a repo of sorts.
Sure. if it's a repo, but we want people to put it in their own cloud accounts or just send it as code.
Those also work.
Yeah, that's how function objects work now. You can have private ones.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, resource function.
Yeah.
So this would be something like a resource theme or something. Resource option.
I like it. It'd be good to get rid of the plot word, which is it's too small, right? This like you said, grid's a great place to put a resource theme.
Is it resource theme or resource option?
Are we targeting visualization thing, or is it going to be options that can go anywhere options go?
I think it could go anywhere, but mostly visualization. But I mean, grid.
So like ND solve with
Right.
your specialized method.
Yeah, why
Yes.
not?
I mean,
Okay,
in
so
which case is you almost want this not to be the right-hand side of an option, but just option like itself.
What do you mean?
Well, just that you can put it in place of the options.
Yes.
No, you don't want to repeat this 10 times for 10 different options. You want to put it one place.
No.
No,
I'm
it
saying
can be
that
a
you would
list.
say plot of sine of x goes from 0 to 10, comma, resource option.
And it resolves to the options.
So
Oh,
every
and then,
function
to a
and then
collection.
you're saying that if you want
or
to
are you saying
override it,
it doesn't resolve until
You
Yeah,
want to
this would be
override,
a
you just
collection
stick
of
something
options,
in.
not necessarily a single option.
Right, you just
Right.
say plot style arrow red before it.
yeah, exactly. That's really elegant.
So, I mean,
Right,
we
I
were
mean,
talking about
evaluation semantics
a
become an issue,
blob
but
thing before
whatever.
though, but this should resolve, right? When you evaluate it.
I think it doesn't have to. I think it could have an up value.
On everything, a global
I
up
don't know.
value?
I don't know. I don't know. No, that's not the right way to do it.
I am not buying an up value here.
I can hear Itai's aneurysm right now.
Okay, but let's say it resolves. On evaluation. Okay, but the source, it would just look like this, and it would say resource options of, and then what's it going to point to? It's going to say, and then it's going to say some kind of
string
name,
first name, yeah, for string for the first argument.
which
the
would
name.
which would often be a cloud object pointer.
It could, yes, if it's not from the public repository, it would need to be a URL or a cloud object.
Right. Okay.
And then it could be like a filtering option argument
Yes.
if you don't want all of them.
I mean, seems to me, I don't understand why this is anything to do with options. I mean, this is just going to evaluate to some thing. I mean, this is basically,
We're just generalizing it to a general expression that.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's useful for a repository to have some constraints, right? like
It could be, it's always an association because it's got to have its filtering mechanism.
but it's got to, it ends up resolving to a list of rules, even if internally it's an association, because options need to not be an association.
I understand,
Also,
but
well, and are there cases where something like option values should have knowledge of this guy, or in cases where you're working with held expressions, or
yeah. Well, but okay, but I mean, the basic idea would be this is potentially a hierarchical. I mean, I'm not quite sure why it's different from resource data. Except that how do I deploy resource data, just a single resource data? How do I deploy a thing as resource data?
You can use the definition notebook is the best way.
No.
Then you can do cloud deploy of resource object and build a resource object manually. Cloud deploy resource object in association, and there are several required keys. the name,
Okay,
the resource
okay,
type,
okay,
the
okay,
description,
okay.
and then you have content elements, and that's where you include the content, right? It's probably like the third example on the resource object doc page.
Okay. But then this,
Well, maybe lower, probably in scope somewhere. Yeah, there's one. 100 primes. Right. So you could cloud deploy that resource object.
I don't need the description, right?
I think there might probably not. If you want, I don't know.
Now, how do I get the actual value out of this?
Resource data.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hey, look at you using fuzzy completions. Good on you.
I do it all the time. Fuzzy completions are a win. Well done. Did I argue against fuzzy completions?
No, but I mean, it was a long road for reasons, but I just it's something that takes a little bit of thought and discipline to kind of retrain yourself to think about typing that way. So
I just know some particular cases where I like it.
yeah, sure.
Okay. What we're talking about here, what do we want to get out of this? We want something where it is very easy. We need a thing where there's a deployment of this that's dead easy. I mean, it's not obvious you want to clutter up your cloud. Well,
I mean, the other thing I'm thinking about as far as evaluation of this thing is this: if it resolves, it'd be nice if it was like looking at the stack and only giving the things that are supported by plot, but that's kind of a hack.
Yes.
But if the only way around that is to have it not resolve, and then every function in the language has to change how it works, basically, or we need a global up value.
Yeah.
Right.
Which,
So
I mean, is then a reason to have it be right-hand side of options, perhaps. That
it's not going to work to have it be right-hand side of an option.
And do we want to?
I guess the filtering thing, if the filtering thing is just a symbol, you could just put plot as a second argument, and then it makes sense.
Okay.
And do we want to think about failure cases where if this code goes to somebody else who doesn't have access to the resource object, then instead of splatting and erroring all over the place, it just pretends like it's not there?
I was imagining you right click and can open it up like iconize.
Sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't understand where you're getting at, Jeremy.
Well, so you could, like iconize expand, you could just right click that and then all the options would just spill out, right?
Oh, well, you could evaluate in place.
The output gets it, but you want it in the input. You want to spill them into the input.
That's not what I'm saying.
You could still evaluate in place.
And to John's question, I mean, I think it was John who was saying if it's not found, I mean, we could evaluate to an empty list with a message. And you could quiet the message if you don't care. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, if I write this and I make my own resource and I forget to make it public for other people, what's the fallback case? Is it ugly? Is it
right? I think it should give a message in return to it and result in an empty list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which argues for it being something named options as opposed to just expression or association or yeah.
Sorry. I'm timing out here. Say this again. I mean, okay, look, the main issue is how could you deploy this? All of these things intend to be deployed to some, local object store or cloud object store or something like that.
Right.
or possibly a global repository.
Right.
Okay, so let's walk through what we know so far.
Right. So resource object already works with cloud deploy and local cache. And it'll work that way. You would be able to do resource options of cloud object or local object.
Okay.
And it would work.
Okay. Okay, but then what would it look like inside? Does it has one filter or multiple filters? That is, you're picking up.
Yeah. The details of the filtering could be a lot. Yeah. Do you want to pick option names or like? It'd be very nice to say, just give me everything supported by plot, right? So maybe like options pattern of plot or something should be supported.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Look, what I've needed here is within the physics project, there are subcases.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that may not be, it could be that we could have a separate resource option thing for each subcase. Although I tend to think, look, I mean, maybe the right thing to do there is that it's if it's resource options of like physics project branch shield graph. And then that returns a bunch of options that are all the options for branch shield graph. And then there is a filtering thing that you can say where you just say edge style, blah, blah, blah.
Right. And the string branch shield graph thing requires the creator of this resource option thing to have created a branch shield graph specification.
Sure.
Right. It's a name that the author made up. It's not.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But the edge style thing doesn't require that at all. That's just a user thing. And it's just going in and whatever, regardless of what the author did, it'll figure it out.
Well, so long as it isn't default. If it's default, it won't return the thing here. So this would normally return edge style arrow, blah, 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 blah. If it didn't have an edge style, it will return a null list.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And
how would
go ahead?
Well, I was going to say, I still think a third option is useful here, right? Because I mean, if one of those options that it returns is plot style, say, I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head whether if I wanted to override that, should my explicit plot style come before or afterwards. And so having the overrides in the resource options function itself means that I don't have to know that. I can just put them in the third argument.
I think you will know that. I'm surprised you didn't know that particular thing. It's true for style, it's true for plot style, it's true for all the style-like options. First one wins.
I think a lot of users won't. I mean, I always just have to put two options in and see which one wins.
Okay. Some things, I'm sure there are many things you know. I don't have any idea how they work.
It's weird. For me, it's weird because HTML, CSS is opposite. Last one wins for styles.
Okay, I think that's a question. Whether we have what is your proposal for how to do that override business?
Well, it would just be a third option. Sorry, a third argument, which would be a list of options.
And what's the point of those? A list of options to override this with?
Right, exactly. So if branch shield graph specified a plot style, I can override its plot style by providing plot style in the third argument.
Unconvinced.
And if it isn't in branch shield graph, well, then it just gets added.
Fair enough. Okay, how would you deploy? So let's say I want to set this up. And how would I deploy this? It's a cloud deploy of, or cloud publish.
And you would have the resource object like below, but the resource type would be something like options.
But that's fairly complicated.
Yep. I mean, so if for a resource function, we have define resource function, we have this constructor utility. We could have a constructor utility.
What would that look like?
Name and then the options, or options in the name. What I mean, if it's, I don't. You got to have
Yeah,
both.
okay.
You got to have both.
Yeah, I understand.
So
But so then what do you do with that?
that returns a resource object, and then you cloud deploy it.
That's not that bad.
Right. It's a little different than define resource function, which returns a resource function. This returns a resource object because resource options resolves. I'm not upset by that inconsistency.
Okay, so define resource function takes what?
It takes a name and a function. I'm not sure which order. The name is optional because you can just give like a symbol. And then it chooses the name automatically.
You have to give a symbol there.
No,
You can't
if you
pure
give a pure function, then you should give the name. Then you need to use the 2 argument form. But if you have a symbol, you can just use a 1 argument form as a convenience.
Why is this taking forever?
I don't know. Loaded a packlet, I guess.
Okay, so then this is a resource.
That's a resource function. I'm proposing that ours doesn't gives a resource object because
Okay, but where is this available now? It's just available right here in this session, right?
yes. And
But
then we
if
have a
I
function called
cloud
resource
deploy-
register, or you can do cloud deploy, or you can do local cache. If you want to refer to it by name, though, you have to do resource register.
Okay, so would it be the same in what you're proposing?
And if you use the definition notebook, the registration happens automatically.
Right, but you're suggesting that here I can do the
Yes,
same
I'm
thing.
suggesting the same, but I need the other people in this meeting to weigh in to see if, well, I mean, you can't just put the name naked. I guess you could do resource options and name. Yep. So that would work. Never mind. I don't need the other people to weigh in. Yeah, that would work. Resource, if you do resource register, then resource options and name will work. And resource register takes persistence locations as the second argument. So you can say whether it's for the computer or for your cloud account or whatever.
So does this have a type?
Why is
Like-
this taking
Like
so
data
long?
like how does it know to return a list
What is
of
it doing?
options, not a association?
How does resource options know to do that?
Yeah.
It always returns a list of rules. It's the idea.
Well, I think if it didn't have its second argument, maybe it could return it could no, maybe not.
It's
How do
got to
you
return
discover-
a valid options pattern.
How do you discover that second argument?
That's a good
that
question.
second element.
If it's an association of associations, it would just resolve, right?
You could
To that second
certainly
level.
you could do resource object of options goes to physics project subvalue
No.
content elements or prompt
You're
or yeah,
lost
but
the
yeah,
game. Look, this is probably what it has to do. If you give this, it just
Information.
disgorges the. It could do information, but this could just disgorge the association, and it could in fact be that the association is 3 levels deep, and you are just peeling off association elements here, because the
so
more
if there's only
I think-
one, then you still need to know this name in order to use it.
No, I think if there's there could just be it could be the case that resource options just takes the hole in one thing. That is, it just takes sort of my nice graphic options, whatever it is, and it's just a single thing. And resource options then just returns one set of options.
Right, but
Yeah,
you're
but it-
proposing that in order to actually use it to get the options out of it, in like our examples, what we have above won't work, where you have the plot of sine x, right? You'd always need to use the list with the 2 things in it.
Sorry, I'm confused.
Where you above where you have the plot of sine of x,
Yeah.
It sounds like what you're saying that should return an association.
I'm
Because
saying
then it won't work.
if you have a sub, listen, what I'm saying is this. This is a know your function type situation. In other words, if you don't know your function, it's more important that you be able to do discovery.
Why not use information for discovery?
Maybe.
But then it has to go back to resource object, not resource options. Or we could have special second arguments like properties.
Okay, but I don't understand why. I mean, what I found in using this stuff for the physics projects over the last 5-6 years, okay, I don't really object to the fact that it gives an association if I don't ask deeply enough, filtered enough questions.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't particularly bother me. I mean, so sometimes it's a bug, but then you fix it. And it's more important that I be able to easily find out what's there than that level of, I don't want this, it's a hidden state. Well, let's develop this a little bit further, but I think this general idea of resource options, that is a slightly specialized resource object, seems like a winning direction.
Yeah. I mean, we can mock something up and play with it and see if we like it where it always returns a list of rules, or if we like it where it always returns an association.
Yes, I'm saying that it returns an association if it has an incompletely filtered first argument, and it returns a list of rules if it's got
Right. I get it. Yep. Oh yeah, I'm talking about just the string first argument. What I think I think we should make something to play with it and see what we like.
Yeah, I think it can be either one. I mean, if you specify when you create it that it's a 3-level deep nested set of associations, then it will return those if you give the single string argument. If you say when you create it that it's just a 1-level list, then that's what it would give. That is my suggestion. That's what the current physics project data thing does.
Yeah,
and it works.
I get it.
It may not be the right thing, but it works okay for that.
I'm willing to play with it and see if I hate it.
Fine.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, maybe it'll be perfectly natural.
I just want to go very, very quickly through these other things. This might have been fixed in 15.0. Has it been?
I'm seeing weird other behavior in 15.0 when I was looking at this. So.
Oh God.
Um.
Go fix it.
Yep.
That's disappointing. Okay. Okay, I want to talk about this for 1 second. Or just 1
I'm
second.
going to drop off.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'm going to go as well. Thanks, guys.
Oh no, I should have stayed for just a second. Oh well. Okay. I gather that, I mean, these look, okay, colors change with fashions. We should be changing our colors. We should be updating our colors. Honestly, this yellow looks more modern than our other yellow looked. I mean, my impression is that different colors go in and out of style at different rates. Anybody want to comment on that? That yellows are particularly rapid cycling ones. Anybody got a comment on that?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure I've ever thought about that.
Yeah. To me, that yellow seems too light. That it's a much lighter visual than all the rest.
Right. I mean,
you squint, you almost
Steven
lose it.
scrolls down a little bit, then there's versions with that yellow and all the other colors lightened a bit.
Yellow's a tough color to deal with as far as visual weight goes compared to other, like blue, purple. Really tough.
Okay, so I'm just amused by, I asked an AI, of course, and it's saying, okay, bold entryway paint colors are noted to go out of fashion faster than neutrals. Red entryways being replaced by more subtle terracotta. Okay.
Beige. It never goes out of style. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah. Safe,
I mean, that's
boring
what you
things.
wear is not quite what
No.
what you wear is not necessarily what you have in your plots. But there is something to this, really is, that we need to be, restyling these colors at a certain rate. I'm sure we can ask LLMs to show us trends. My gosh. Okay, well, here's an amusing claim from the LLM. I mean, I have no idea if this is true, but it gives us a sense of what.
I feel like there'll be a similar story for every other color. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Wrong definition of green.
This isn't completely stupid, I got to say. I mean, let's try a different one. I mean, let's say orange colors. Okay, so it doesn't know. Interesting. So it's got yellows and blues it thinks it knows something about.
People don't paint their houses red a lot.
That's true. Oh, it had a different answer this time.
I've never heard of Gen Z yellow. I'll have to look that up.
Or millennial pink, for that matter.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, here's the point. If you see a picture of both a website, in fact, somebody did this at the summer program a few years ago, looking at website color trends. They're definitely, we all know there are color trends in websites. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think every few years we gotta update these. And we've done it several times, and I think our yellow is going out of style. I mean,
Are you saying a different order of colors too?
no, I'm saying we keep the colors. It's still a yellow, it's still a blue, but we're just tweaking the hue slightly.
Okay, I was just checking because I know before you said you wanted to keep the order.
Yes, definitely. This is a tweak.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm liking. Jeremy says it's too light, and he might be right, but I'm liking this hue a lot better. Just feels more fresh.
Can you
modern.
open the next little subsection?
Yeah, there's some lighter colors with it. There, you got two sections there. One lighter by 0.2 and lighter by 0.3. And what that's doing, the same color yellow is there, but it's just lightening the rest of the colors.
I don't think we want to. I don't know whether we want to lighten this. I mean, for some purposes, we can't do that. I don't know how these bars, as the bars get smaller, how that works.
Plus, there's opacity sometimes, like in the histogram.
Okay. I got to tell you, I mean, I don't know how this is coming through Zoom and all that kind of stuff, but I've got to tell you that even with my poor fashion sense or whatever it is, I think this looks more modern. If you asked me which came from the more recent, years, I would say this one. Do you think I'm completely wrong? Does anybody else share that?
I can't tell.
I think
which
it's a
one
nice
this one
color on
is.
its own in isolation. I'm worried that if you just pick it because it looks modern, we're we're losing our visual acuity, right, between colors. Like
well,
here,
yeah, that's not going to work. I agree. It's a question of whether we can still get the visual distinction,
mhm,
but nevertheless tweak the hue so it looks more modern.
yeah.
Right, that's
I
the
think the
challenge.
closer you get to pure yellow, the more light things get. That's where
No,
the
it's
more
not gonna work.
orangey
It's
red
not gonna work.
sides naturally look better,
Yes, but I mean, I think
darker.
there's right, but there's a lot of room, it seems to me, to move around in color space. I just feel like our existing, I mean, this is already better than our 14.3. Is it?
Those are
Yeah.
very
Cliff.
similar, but I mean the others vary a lot.
Anything that was using a gradient's now going to be using
Wait a minute. This, oh yeah,
index
this.
colors. Like that's using a gradient. And then the 15 proposed colors uses
I
index
think these colors are
colors.
particularly bad.
Yeah, the
That
sequence
middle
is good.
brownish color is just
Yeah, it's no good. Right, but this is our standard sequence there.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean a little bit brighter because it has more area, and so we don't need.
Yeah. What can we do about that yellow? Wait a minute. This yellow looks different from that yellow. Is it different?
It has opacity, probably.
The parent
Okay.
histogram has below.
They
it has
all
I
have
think it does.
opacity. So it
Yeah.
might look a little better, but they're all have opacity.
Because date histogram looks a little lighter too. I wonder if that has
Yeah.
some opacity.
I'm sure that does also. It just happens to not have any overlap.
Yeah. Anytime there's
Yeah.
more than one data set, and then you get opacity.
Well, I mean,
Isn't
for
it?
the histograms where they aren't fixed in space, basically.
Mhm.
Well, okay. So look, this yellow here looks to me sort of okay. This, Halloween, ish color is looking less and less okay to me.
Halloween?
I don't know. It's orangish.
But to get to this color, we had to lighten the blue as well. So if everything lightens, then we kind of keep the visual weight more similar.
No, I understand. So that I'm saying yes. That's what. But my main point is the hue of the yellow is not right. And I think we should see what we can do about it. I mean, I think it is just, look, for whatever reason, this, although you're right, the relative visual weights are wrong, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, your claim is as we increase the visual weight, we're going to go orange for the yellow.
Or muddy brown. Either way, you can darken it
Yeah.
or you can redden it up, and that'll take it a little darker. But the closer you get to pure yellow, it's very,
No,
it's
it's
very
not gonna
light.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, I think
this is
yeah.
in the direction of yellow, and that's why it gets a little lighter.
I think that looks pretty nice in that particular case.
Yeah.
I mean, this is challenging. We all know that.
Mhm.
And we also know that changing the colors depending on their area is going to, are we doing that yet?
I mean, to some extent, there are things like that. So, for years, like, Plot has used different colors than, um,
Something an area-based thing.
exactly. That there's a darkness difference there, where they look, they're very close, but where we have small measures of ink, we, use the darker colors and the more vibrant colors, or.
In
See,
3D,
this yellow is looking much better.
Yeah,
it looks better in 3D. You get some lighting effect, like
It's-
even that. There's a bit of gradient, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
can. It's nicer.
We've got a yellow problem. Let's fix our yellow problem. Okay.
okay.
And I think it's tricky, but let's try and fix it. This I think is a really sucky color here. Do I know what
See,
to
out
do
of
with it?
that, the
No, I
green
don't.
bothers me more. But I like bluer greens more than yellower greens. But
Well, I'm not a huge fan of that green either. I mean, that green is fine. What is this now? Oh, lighter by 0.3. For these plots, that green is just fine at that size.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got a bit more work to do on this. And not much time, but let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll keep iterating on it.
Okay. Oh, these were. Oh, this is what we looked at last time.
Yeah, those
Right.
are the
And Tim pulled out
colors from
a set
there.
of colors at the top there.
They're surprisingly nice, I think. I mean, we might as well have this as a color palette somewhere.
In the Nightingale, there wasn't hardly any colors.
Fair enough. I mean, I suspect these were hand colored, right? In those
Yeah,
days, with
'cause
I'm
watercolor.
sure they were.
Yeah, because it's not uniform. If you look at it, you
I
can see
see.
streaks in it.
So this was
You can tell where he
watercolor.
traced the curves with the color.
Yeah. Yeah, that middle one, just right click it and do actual size
I do that. Okay. Yeah, there we
there.
go. Oh gosh.
And you can see it's not uniform.
Yeah, right. So that was watercolor, basically, presumably.
Looks like it. Yeah.
It's cool, though. I mean, they're really quite nice colors, in my view. I mean, do other people disagree with that? I mean, they look quite modern.
It's a pastel palette.
Yes.
I was gonna say that font is not very modern.
Which, this one here?
Yeah, with all the flourishes and
I don't know about that century. That might be even close to century school book or something.
yeah.
What is that? That font looks perfectly modern. I admit some of these don't. Okay. Anything else we should go over here?
I don't think so.
All right. We got some yellow. We got to deal with our yellow crisis. Sorry, just a second. Okay. Thanks, guys. See you
Okay.
later.
Okay,
See ya.
see ya.
Bye.